Shabbat Shalom and good morning, Temple Beth-El. I hope that this message finds you all in good health. This week's Torah portion is Vayishlach, which means and he sent. In this week's Torah portion, we return to this sibling relationship between Jacob and Esau. Jacob has not been back to Israel in 20 years or back to the Promised Land in 20 years. And he decides to go and to try to reconcile with his brother Esau. You'll have to go back in your memory a few parshiot before where there was a whole selling of the birthright through trickery. And so now he's trying to reconcile with his brother 20 years later, which seems extremely timely in many of our family relationships also that are estranged. So Jacob sends out emissaries to find Esau and say, I want to make up with you. I want to see what we can do. Let's try to reconnect. Let's try to come back together. And so as those people are sent out and they come back with messages for Jacob, they say Esau has lots of people, has a whole army essentially that could come back and get you, and they're preparing. Jacob doesn't know what Esau's planning, but Jacob does have a lot of big feelings, as we say in modern mental health. Jacob falls asleep, as we have experienced him a few different times in the most recent parshiot. He falls asleep, and while he's dreaming, we find that out now, while he is asleep, he wrestles. He wrestles with what in the Torah is called ish, man or person. And Jacob wrestles all night with this ish. In the end, when Jacob wakes up, he finds that his hip is wrenched, like he has been affected, he has physically been changed, and he is given a new name, Israel. So this new name that God gives him actually means those or he who wrestles with the divine and who comes out of it on the other end. So we know that Jacob is changed forever, not just by his name, but we also know that physically he's now changed forever. And we know, or we should think, that also spiritually and emotionally he's changed forever. When we face a challenge in our lives and we face it head on, or we eventually get to it and then we take it on, we are very much changed. We realize we can do hard things and we can come through them. Now, although Jacob's name becomes changed to Israel, which is where our nation of people get our name from, it's important that we pause and think, okay, our entire community, our entire religion is named after a situation where a human wrestles with Ish, which a lot of commentators say is God, but other commentators also say is Jacob wrestles with himself, or maybe both, and comes out on the other side a changed person. Think about those experiences in your life where you have gone inside, you have internally had to wrestle, had to struggle, had to think about who you are, what you want to be, where you want to show up in this world. And once you have decided that, once you have taken the time to get messy in the text, as we say for Torah study, you come out a different person. This is the same for Jacob and the Jewish people. When we take on something as a religion, we stick with it. We try our best to follow our values, to look at our texts, to understand our peoplehood. And we are changed once we realize, once we recognize, and once we understand ourselves better, our faith better, and ultimately maybe what God has in plan for us better. So this Shabbat, as we take on our name of Israel and we unite as one people, let us also think that maybe this understanding of becoming a nation has less to do, or not as much to do, with wrestling with God. Maybe it is about wrestling with ourselves. What does faith mean to us? What does Judaism mean? What does God mean? And ultimately, what does it mean to be someone created, B'Tselem Elohim, in the divine image? I hope you'll join me tonight for services as we have our congregational 5th, 6th, and 7th grade classes leading us in prayer, as well as a beautiful conversion ceremony. I also hope that tomorrow morning you will come out to the Saturday market as I experience one of my favorite things, one of the reasons I fell in love with St. Pete, this unbelievable market. But right next to it, we will have Shabbat morning services prior, and then go grab coffee, shop, maybe grab some herbal tea, or I saw Kanishkai, lots of things there. And then on Sunday, we do have religious school, and I hope you'll join us for the shmooze at 9 a.m., followed by our religious school. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Stay warm. Shabbat Shalom.